real quick. So on or about June 1st, 2023, Christian Eppinger, one of 18 defendants, was severed from the ongoing YSL RICO trial on the criminal action that was recently transferred to this court by random assignment.
We have Mr. Eppinger here with us at this point in time, position number 1. I was just going to ask him some questions about representation. Mr. Eppinger, good morning, sir. Sir, do you have an attorney?
No.
Would you like the court to go ahead and appoint you an attorney for this case?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to have Mr. Siminoff, who's with the Public Defender's Office, talk with you in just a minute and qualify you to see if you can qualify for the services of the public defender or conflict defender, and we'll go ahead and let him do that this morning.
I'm sorry, I actually have information on Mr. Eppinger. His case was already submitted for C3 counsel on August 19th from our office, and it was approved and forwarded to the state office. So if he doesn't have a lawyer at this point, I believe the state office is still working on securing representation for him, but our offices are in that process.
So you've already started that process?
We've already submitted the forms. They've been approved by my supervisor and forwarded to the state office, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Chamberlain, since he's in GHC custody, can we put him back on for the 5th of October and see if that counsel will join us at that point, by that time? Okay, all right. Mr. Eppinger, I'm going to go ahead and put you on for the 5th of October. So it looks like the quest to have representation for you is already started. So somebody should be reaching out to you very soon to talk with you about representation, okay?
Yes, sir.
But I am going to go ahead and put you back on for the 5th of October, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Unless you have any questions, sir, you're welcome to remain, or I can go ahead and release you, okay?
I'm good.
Say again?
I said I'm good. I'll leave.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Okay, all right.
Although there's no severance order in the record, the court was apprised of the circumstances that directly led to Eppinger's severance. More specifically, the deputy assigned to and responsible for the courtroom and personal security of the undersigned for nearly 6 months was arrested.
To smuggle contraband to a defendant in the case. This deputy, Akiba Stanley, in this mugshot here, in the past hour, the Fulton County Sheriff announced she has been fired. And we have learned she was previously fired from the Atlanta Police Department when an investigation found she was unfit to serve as an officer. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joining us now live in studio tonight. And in the past few hours, we received the arrest warrant for Stanley. So, Latasha, what is going on here?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, Jennifer. The deputy is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Christian Eppinger by communicating with him on Instagram, visiting his cell, and trying to smuggle items to him. Now, you may recall Eppinger is accused of shooting an Atlanta police officer last year. He remains behind bars tonight, and the deputy is too. Akiba Stanley took an oath to serve and protect, but officials say her track record as an officer is now criminal. Her arrest warrants detail her having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate, visiting his cell, communicating with an inmate through Instagram, and trying to smuggle contraband to Christian Eppinger from one of his relatives. Eppinger is accused of shooting a veteran Atlanta police officer several times last year while he was being taken into custody.
One of the defendants who's been in hot water has now been severed from the case, meaning he will now face a separate trial. We first told you last week a Fulton County deputy was arrested for trying to smuggle contraband to Christian Eppinger. Now today, a judge severed him from the case after the state accused his attorney of allowing him to use a laptop to communicate with that deputy on Instagram. Officials seized that laptop last week. Eppinger's attorney, Eric Johnson, has denied these claims. Still, the judge said the accusations presented a conflict of interest and cited safety as the reason for the severance.
He's also a defendant in the YSL RICO case awaiting trial. Stanley's charges include a violation of oath of office, reckless conduct, and conspiracy to commit a felony. But this isn't the first time her conduct as an officer has been questioned. According to state records, Stanley started working for the Atlanta Police Department back in 2016. But during a 30-day period, she received several complaints. Some are outlined in this investigation obtained by 11 alive. It states her actions during traffic stops made her unfit to be an officer. The investigation also found other officers complained about her behavior. She was terminated from APD back in 2018. Post-certification records also show Stanley was ordered to complete a 6-month ethics and professionalism course at her own expense back in 2020. She then began working at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office last October. And in a statement late this afternoon, the Fulton County Sheriff announced Stanley has in fact been fired, and he calls her actions reckless and put the lives of others in danger.
Said deputy, who was still assigned to this court at the time of her arrest, is accused of 1, colluding with defendant Eppinger during the current trial to commit a felony, and 2, endangering the safety of citizens within the Fulton County Courthouse. Because this court's former assigned deputy could be called as a witness in any future proceedings in this case, the court may be called upon to assess this deputy's credibility or rule on matters related to her criminal prosecution. This may undermine the public's confidence. So because we want to not undermine the public's confidence in the impartiality of this proceeding, I'm going to recuse. While the court does not regard the aforementioned situation as creating any actual bias for or against any party to this case, the court does view this as a matter that could cause a reasonable person to question the court's impartiality and reasonably give rise to the appearance of impropriety should the court remain on this case. Rule 211 of the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct provides that judges shall disqualify themselves in any proceeding in which their impartiality might reasonably be questioned. Commentary 2 to that rule provides that judges should disclose on the record or in open court information that the court believes the parties or their lawyers might consider relevant to the question of disqualification, even if they believe there is no legal basis for disqualification. So thus, after she's carefully considered and consistent with this rule promoting public confidence in the independence and impartiality of the judiciary, and also Rule 211A, requiring disqualification when the public might reasonably question a judge's impartiality, the undersigned hereby recuses herself from this criminal action. The clerk of court is directed to reassign this criminal action to another judge, so ordered this 17th day of July 2024, and then signed off here. And currently, it still shows that Shakura is the one assigned, so we'll get an update on that today, I'm sure. And then just as some FYI, if you wanted to know more on this backstory, what was going on with this deputy, here was an article about it from June 9th of 2023 by Joseph Bapp. So you see Christian Eppinger here in the picture, and it says, "Look at me, baby. Relationship between deputy YSL defendant detailed in warrant. He bought her a birthday card. She rubbed his back and said, 'Look at me, baby,' when she felt he needed comforting. They exchanged messages and smiled at each other when they thought nobody else was watching. They were both involved in the Young Slime Life trial, he as a defendant and she as a deputy in the courtroom where the trial was being held. Now they are both in the Fulton County Jail. A warrant issued by the Fulton County Sheriff's Office to search and seize the computer of an attorney revealed details about the alleged relationship between Deputy Akiba Stanley, who has since been fired and arrested, and Christian Eppinger, whose case has been severed from the trial. Stanley fostered an inappropriate relationship with Eppinger by visiting his cell and allegedly conspiring with one of his relatives to deliver prohibited items, the sheriff's office said in a statement. The warrant notes a series of instances indicating a relationship. Eppinger had been using his attorney's laptop to message people via Instagram. In May, deputies deduced one of their colleagues was apparently among them. According to the warrant, an investigator with the sheriff's office saw Eppinger type a message, smile and look at Stanley, who then typed something on her Apple Watch before smiling at Eppinger. This happened several times, the warrant said. An investigation later confirmed Eppinger was messaging with the deputy by connecting their social media accounts back to them. Other instances demonstrated an inappropriate relationship. Eppinger had bought Stanley a birthday card from the jail commissary in April. The next month, after a scuffle between a different officer and Eppinger, Stanley allegedly stood by and did not assist in detaining Eppinger, while other deputies did so. Instead, according to the warrant, Stanley rubbed Eppinger's back and said, "Look at me, baby." According to the warrant, Eppinger's lawyer, Eric Johnson, is accused of being a co-conspirator and allowing his client to message people using his laptop. Judge Earl Glanville severed the case due to conflict of interest and potential security concerns. A hearing on the matter is scheduled, and this was last year. And then Stanley ended up being arrested and was granted a $1 million bond. She had started working at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office in October of 2022, after being fired from the Atlanta Police Department in 2018. And then Stanley had been on probation for 12 months in April of 2020, following a series of complaints lodged against her by citizens during her time with the Atlanta PD. But she had to complete an ethics and professionalism course, and those courses fix everything. And so, yeah. But because Shakura Ingram worked in the same courtroom, she was a deputy in her court, she's saying, look, we're going to maintain public confidence, and I'm getting off this case. So, what do you guys think?
Way back in '94 when I was. Hey, this that stoner music, nigga.